Okay, good morning, everybody. The last of summer, the finale coming up, right? So thank you all for taking time out to meet with us today. Lots going on. I missed one meeting, and then I feel like I missed the world happening. Lots of stuff going on. So we'll start it out with our plans for step into September, which
Can you back
Stephanie,
up to the minutes, Lynn, please?
Sorry, you know what? I'm gonna have trouble because my minutes did not print out, but I didn't catch it, and so I'm kind of looking at my phone as well as my approval minutes. First, I guess we should say any additions or corrections to the minutes. Okay, do you want to?
Good to me.
Okay, want to make a motion to approve that? We seem to be.
Make a motion. Oh, okay, I second it.
Great. Okay, Stephanie, we're good to go. So how about the step into September? Is there anything you want to add to that, Stephanie, at this time?
Yes, I'd like to let everybody know that the township did receive the DCNR PEC grant for $500. It's a little mini grant. I would like, I know that Roger said he sent Margaret a little video this morning of, I think, Lynn, your grandchild,
Right.
part of the trail and everything. So we can use that. Also, I'd like Larry and Roger, since they volunteered initially, and I think Judy H., to make a time this week to come in and meet with Andrea, because part of the grant is that we put together a brochure about the trail system and the trail rides that people can go on. I'm thinking like a trifold type of brochure. The EAC did this on native plants. It's very nicely done and everything. So we need to jump on that. And I know you three said you would volunteer. So I'm going to have Andrea send you guys a quick email this afternoon. And would like it if you would volunteer time to come in and sit down and lay that out.
Great.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay.
That's
All right.
Yep.
That work for you, Barry? Great. Well, what we're talking about with this video that is that Roger sent out, I just did it as something I saw. I don't know if you're all familiar with. I think it's iMovie on the iPad. But my grandson, who's 10, got, summer's been long, so he got quite good at it. So I thought, okay, well, this might be fun to see, since Roger, Larry, and I and Judy were trying to figure out how we were going to proceed with doing this the video for our past connecting to the tree planting. I put together a little something that we sent along. Maybe not everyone got it yet, but anyway, it's just it's not the real thing. It's a sample of what I was thinking might work for us. So I sent it to Larry and Roger, and they liked the premise of it. So we were just going to send it out. Maybe it got to everyone too late, to just show you and get the approval, and then go forward and start creating something that would take us from the tree planting parking area to the pump track, and also to the Waltberry Bridge. I think the two locations that you had tasked us with finding. So that's what that's about. If you get the video and have a few questions about it, or are not sure you like the direction, just call us. Call me after this meeting is over and discuss it, and I'll pass those along. Okay, any questions on that?
Fair enough.
It's very elementary. It's very elementary.
Hey, Lynn.
Yeah.
This video, is it going to be on our website?
I think that you'll all tell us that, but the plan is at least to have it ready for, the tree planting.
Awesome. Just double check being on the tab committee. I think this happened with the dog park, making sure the camera's a certain way. There's certain formatting issues in order for it to work on the website. You might just check.
Larry, Larry, do you know about that?
Are there guidelines somewhere for that?
Jean Lawton and probably Andrea, who can help
knows.
with this, could help you for sure. Only because I don't want you to go through all this effort and then not be able to use it.
That's fantastic. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
so
that would be my
edit. Nancy, and also I reached out to Max yesterday through email and through voicemail.
Okay.
left messages. Nancy found a young man, CB East, I think, Nancy?
CB senior, yes.
Who is in photography and film, and we want to work with him as well on some videos. But whatever you sent over, appreciated so much, and we'll take it and see what we can do with it.
Yeah, it's very simple. It's
Yeah.
done. It was not done to say this is, you know, the professional, this is the fine.
Right.
This was like saying, oh
This
my
is
God.
proud
we
grandmother footage. Is that what this is?
Yeah, but it was,
like
it was-
something that I thought it's a very simple through a kid's eyes that made it, you know, pretty easy. In fact, the landmark he used was a drainage pipe area. So I'm not so sure our landmark was perfect either. But anyway, okay, so we'll take a look at that, and hopefully, you know, we'll find agreement on how we're going to have that ready for the 12th. And Larry, I guess, Larry, do you want to take charge on figuring out, making the connection with the video department, or the boy that Stephanie's talking about, that we can make sure our video is done right?
Yeah, he probably knows 5 times as much as I do about such things. So
Okay.
I think it's mainly going to be trying to find a place and time to do one.
Right.
So I guess Andrea will be a conduit for information about all of this, like the guidelines that we need to be mindful of. And
I would, yeah, Larry, I'm going to interrupt a second. I would, Stephanie, probably separate. Max is more the artist.
Yeah,
He's
I know.
going to be a film and photography major going into college. He's a senior this year, and he's got a drone and the whole shoot and match. So if it's not this one particular, or you've already started down this path, maybe it's something else you do for Bike and Hike in the future. But Andrea is the formatting piece of it, probably. So it's probably 2 separate pieces. Is that fair?
mm-hmm.
Okay.
And you
Great.
can decide which way. If you decide you want to lean on him to help you with it, great. If you decide you want to do it and then maybe have him do something else, maybe for the bike path, that's fine too.
Okay. Do you, Steph, do you have a name and a phone number we can have, or an email?
Yeah, we've already reached out. I would like to keep that in-house and coordinate, if you don't mind. It would be a lot easier than having 6 cooks in the kitchen, you know,
100%.
if you don't
All right.
mind. It'll be
100%.
easier to do it that way.
All right. So we should hold tight.
Yeah,
And-
we're gonna have Andrea reach out to Larry and on Roger and Judy on the brochure and also on the video.
Okay.
And I think Roger sent it over to Margaret this morning, so we'll be able
Yeah.
to get it and take a look at it and see what we need to do.
Yep.
And then we
Okay.
can supplement from there.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. Okay. Roger and Larry and Judy, everybody all right?
Yeah, good. I guess we'll get from Andrea something on when the meeting is going to be, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Great. So let's move on to the 202 feasibility study. Anything up with that we should know about, Steph?
I think that's Steve. He's working on
Yeah,
that.
Steve,
I think he went out and walked it, right?
Yeah, went out and walked 2 routes primarily, you know, one on the northwest side of 202, one on the southeast side of 202. And in my head, the gut reaction is there are feasible options out there. In the past few months, we've discussed with PennDOT, bicycle and pedestrian coordinators, about the feasibility of a trail within limited access highway, and we got positive feedback there. So design is progressing, and what we really, I think, need to look forward to now is preparing a public meeting at some point. So we should definitely get the public's feedback.
No.
We should talk more about it, maybe in a subcommittee, if you guys are thinking, just to sort of put all the ideas on paper and start organizing this presentation for the public.
Is your idea of a public meeting something like you did before at the township building?
Probably
Is that what you
not.
think?
It's probably going to be an online format. I've seen a few done
Oh,
where
stealing my shoes.
they where they basically take a Zoom meeting or a Microsoft Teams meeting. I've seen Microsoft Teams work very well actually, where I would be able to have, Chris, myself on one side with our videos up, and then also a PowerPoint presentation on the other side of the screen. And the way that we would get questions is through like a question box, and we'd also have to be really diligent to email out forms, questionnaires, get their input some way, somehow, because that's the most effective way to do things. It's going to be a change, but I've seen it done, and I think it's possible. We're just going to have to adapt.
Good.
Do we need more lead time on that? I'm assuming we're going to need a lot more lead time
Yeah.
in prep for it, for communication with the public, to get them out to me, to get them to participate versus, 2-3 weeks to show up to a meeting.
Yeah, I think maybe a month or a month and a half, maybe a month and a half or so from now is appropriate, at least on my end, to get all the preparation done and, advertisements to be sent out to the public. Does that sound about right? Like a month and a half?
Well, can we advertise it on the September 12th?
Certainly.
So if it's toward the end of September?
I'm thinking, I don't know if it's end of September or October. Steve, what do you think?
That works for us. October works for us.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that'd be a good thing to promote on the 12th.
Maybe
Okay.
we can fit that into our brochure.
Yeah.
No, that would be a good thing to put in the brochure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
Will
think
the brochure be virtual too?
Yeah, the brochure would be a downloadable brochure then. It would be up on the websites. It would, be part of it. Yeah.
Well, sure is good because it's going to the right audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. All right, great. Steve, anything else on that one? Any questions for Steve? Okay. How about then we have an old new road update. I see things are happening in that area. So that's great. So any comments on the old new road update?
Well, at the last meeting, we went through some concept ideas on the old new road portion of it. And we've met with Warrington Township officials twice now. The last meeting was just a few weeks ago, and they showed up with 3 people on the Zoom meeting. So I think they're very, very interested in working with us on the Bristol Road portion of this.
Okay.
And what they asked me to do was to, and at that meeting, we talked about Bristol Road more, about crossings and how we can interact with Warrington Township. And they asked me to carry that forward and do sort of a similar presentation to what we did on Old New Road, and to work up a cost estimate. And we're sort of talking about this in terms of a pre-feasibility. I don't want to call it a study, but a discussion, just to see what the major obstacles are. Is it worth moving ahead? And how we can move ahead together as a team on this with Warrington Township. And Stephanie, do you have that presentation on your computer?
I have it for you to share. So you go ahead and share your screen.
Okay, let me figure out how to do that here. I think I have it ready to go. Nope, I don't. Oh, there it is. Let me get right. Now I can just go through it like this. What we're looking at, I guess everybody can see this now.
No.
No, we can't see it
No,
yet,
it didn't
Tom.
come up.
Oh, I got to share my screen, don't I?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. I do not see that anywhere on here. Let me go back. Zoom. Okay, share screen. Okay, that should do it.
Yep, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, there we go.
And what we're looking at, and this is the part we started discussing with Warrington, is the extension up to and into Chalfont, really. And this is something that shows up on a lot of the plans. It was part of our 5-year program that we presented to the Board of Supervisors a couple years ago. And we started looking at it, particularly in the case of the toll development on Bristol Road.
Right.
So it's in the Doylestown Township Plan, Warrington Township. And every time we meet with them, I keep hearing other things that they're doing. I think next to our group, or they're really part of it, they've got an awful lot going on. But they're bringing a trail down Folly Road. This is the Easton Road. This is the school right here, Central Bucks South. So they're looking at the trail system coming into that, and they'd like to connect on at the school. And then they're also working up in some of these other connectors, connecting some of these neighborhoods on. So there are opportunities to work with them at Folly Road.
Yeah, great. So actually they have one plan for Folly Road?
Yeah, and a lot of people, a lot of bicyclists use Folly Road right now because it's not one of the heavier trafficked roads. And then even up through these neighborhoods, and particularly on the Parkway. And then the other plan we looked at was the tri-community plan, particularly New Britain Township, where they're showing a number of different connectors going up into Peace Valley Park through Chalfont. And then there are connectors proposed coming out of that. So this trail in particular, I think the more you look at Bristol Road, the more it looks like it could be a significant regional connector. It'll connect onto the Neshaminy Greenway, of course, in Doylestown Township. And then it could take us all the way through up to Hilltown. And Hilltown's working on extending a north-south trail. And then once we're in the Hilltown, we're in Percy, Sellersville, and almost in Quakertown, and up to the county's new rail trail coming out of Quakertown and heading up to Bethlehem. So there are a lot of opportunities here, and I just picked one of them that goes up Old Iron Hill Road as possible connector in the Peace Valley.
Which would be nice because it connects to ours a little bit. Right.
Yeah, it's, but there are a lot of opportunities there.
Yeah, that's good. I just did that. It gets a little hairy when you're making when you get to the stop sign up there, when you're making your right to Old Iron Hill. It's a little hairy there.
Yeah, but I think it's all doable. It really does look doable there. And then just going quickly down Bristol Road, here's the entrance into Central Bucks South. The traffic signal at Folly Road is right behind us. We're looking north up towards Upper State Road. And the traffic signal on Folly is where we see the main connector with Warrington Township. And then we discussed putting a sidewalk along that side of the street just to get back, just to connect this sidewalk that goes back to CB South. And we sort of talked about that at the last meeting. And then on the main discussion point with them, I think, was which side of the road do we go down? And I don't think we want to cross the road much. We had to do that for the 202 Parkway. It's not a great idea, and I like to avoid it. So I think the consensus was we stick to a multi-use trail on the Doylestown Township side. And as you can see going north here, it's wide open. You get up a little further, this is Klein Court that goes off to the right, a small little, I think it's just a little cul-de-sac. But on the Warrington Township side, you start running into issues right away. So we're still good going through this area. And then this is the first little culvert before you get to Lower State Road. This would be Lower State Road up at the top here. And, you know, nothing major, still not a lot of obstacles, and a fairly minor crossing. It's sort of typical of one, it would be typical small pedestrian bridge crossing that we built. And here's Lower State Road and the gas station. And this is going to require some work with the gas station. And we have the opportunity maybe to look at Bristol Road intersection and make some improvements there, perhaps a left-hand turn lane. There's a house that sits right on the road here. There's a wall, the wall's right here. So there's not an easy way to expand over in that direction.
And a house on the other side that makes it tight as well, right?
Yeah, and this is looking back south on Bristol Road towards the gas station. So, you know, there's opportunities to get across there. It's just how we work with the gas station. And
Got to make it obvious too, because there's a lot of in and out traffic with the gas station that people don't look for bicycles.
no, and it might be an opportunity to clean that up for them too. To
Yeah.
make that enhance their access.
Curb appeal.
I mean, it's not a real busy gas station. It's more of a service.
Mechanics, yeah, I think it's more mechanical stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you look at the price of their gas.
Yeah, the price of gas.
Well, that's just beer money for them, I think, or
I
something.
think that's just to keep people away.
Yeah. And this is starting to look back up Bristol Road towards Upper State. And this is the Toll Brothers property on the right. There's a culvert here that, again, isn't a major one. And we've got plenty of room to do something on the right-hand side here. Toll's entrance, I think I have a slide on that. No, here's Toll's development. This isn't the most recent one, the final one, but here's Lower State Road and Bristol Road. And they only have one access coming into it. And it's pretty much opposite the first or second house going up on the Warrington side. And then we had this anticipated trail along the Neshaminy Creek. The township should control all this open space at some point when this development is dedicated. So, and Judy and I walk this. It's a beautiful area. It has a tremendous potential for just a small local, you know, just passive type recreation park. And having something even at the corner here is a feature coming into the township or coming into Warrington Township even. Maybe move that sign that we have there, welcome to Doylestown Township, into this corner. They're going to tear down the old house and maybe get that, turn that into something that's right now a big negative coming into the township into a positive and perhaps a trailhead.
Yeah, be a
Would
great
good
trailhead.
opportunity for a small trailhead, whether we have parking or not, but there's a lot of room there.
Can I ask you, do you know what elementary school this is going to feed to?
Mill Creek.
Oh, it'll be
Mill
Mill Creek?
I think
Okay.
it's.
Yeah,
Mill
at the
Creek.
last presentation, we
is,
showed that connection between
they have-
CD Cal and
Yeah.
Mill Creek.
Okay.
So, and I think everybody, Warrington's seems fine with that.
Mhm.
So I think that part is going, hopefully be the easy part of it all.
Right.
And
Do we know when they're starting?
Yeah, I was wondering, has there been a hold on the start dates?
It'll probably be, if everything goes well, probably late fall.
Right?
Yeah.
um,
And they
So
are, They can have that many houses with just one access, one in, one way in.
Yeah,
and one
it's gonna
out?
be 137 townhomes and it's age targeted. So they're
Yeah.
looking more for the retirees that want to downsize with the, first floor master suites kind of thing.
They
And they
do
have-
have an emergency egress.
Yeah, they do have an
kind of thing.
emergency access as well.
This is their emergency
Okay.
access. And that'll be a trail connection into the development
Mhm.
and provide access to this internal system that we
Great.
have developed.
And
So
what's
that-
the total? 137, 137?
Yep.
Yeah.
hmm
You know how many they've sold so far, Stephanie?
None. They haven't built any, so they haven't sold any.
They're not allowed to do that.
They're not allowed to do that. They still have to do their development escrow agreements, break ground for the site. They still have to settle on the property too. So,
And
Is
this
it-
is,
Is it considered
Back on.
55 and older then or not?
I'm sorry, what?
Is it considered 55 and older?
They're age targeting, but it's not restricted.
Okay, got it.
so we're back on Bristol Road, and this is the entrance point. Here's the first house on the Warrington side coming up Bristol. So that's their entrance. It's kind of wide open. The idea would be perhaps to have the trail up on the bank here.
Weave through the trees.
Right. And this is the part we'd be responsible for. I should have pointed that out. Toll's building that trail from this point, across their access to the end of the development. That's their obligation. That's what's on their plan. The grant, if we get one, will cover this part and the stream crossing. So
How long is the trail that's in the neighborhood? Yeah, the green.
this one,
Yeah.
it's at least a half a mile or more.
Yeah. It's just a nice little loop and the views are very pretty.
Yeah, it takes you down along the Neshaminy, and this backs up to the Quail Call development. Those are big lots. You really don't see anything back there. And
Yeah.
these homes sit up on the hillside. This is a pretty steep drop off back through here. So
So
yeah,
you're
this
down
portion-
below in the,
I see.
this portion of the trail is going to be down along the Neshaminy and probably not be paved at this time. I think the idea is to get in there and create this trail as more of a pedestrian nature walking trail.
Mhm.
And it won't be necessarily officially part of the Neshaminy Greenway or anything, but this land will be.
Okay.
And this is moving on past, this is the Neshaminy Dell little street that goes back, and Red Oak on the Warrington side. There will be a crossing here somewhere, and we're still looking at the best opportunity for that. Red Oak goes into, it's a loop road that goes up into a development in Warrington, and there's a northern entrance and a southern entrance, both called Red Oak. So at some point, and it has sidewalks, it's good, a lot of connectivity inside. So the question will be, will we have one here or at the next one, which is behind us here? So at some point there will be a road crossing. And this is Dell Drive on another small cul-de-sac. And you can still see how this is open. And this is the Red Oak upper northern loop into the development on the right.
It's a lot of ground on the right. I'm glad to see that.
Yeah.
There aren't too many limitations on this in terms of homes. We're going to
Great.
need,
It is terrible to ride a bike on.
yeah, Bristol Road is totally
Yeah.
something everybody avoids Bristol Road
Yeah.
on bicycles. There are better opportunities around, but still. And then this is the Stump Road crossing here, and we'll probably have a crossing at Stump Road tying into what Warrington wants to do on their side. So we're at this point in time, we're only looking at 2 non-signalized crossings. Pretty limited. And we'll have crossings at Bristol and then back at Foley, and of course, Upper 202 Parkway.
Those may have to be those flashing rapid beacons,
Yeah.
is my guess, because of the speed on Bristol,
Yeah, it's,
or rapid
Right.
flashing beacons. I had that wrong.
But there is good visibility on there.
Yeah.
there is, but it's
fast.
it
Mhm.
is fast.
They're not used to people.
No, and
No.
this is
Is right.
the Parkway Trail, where we'd be connecting in right on the right side here. And then we go into the Burke track, which is under construction. Infrastructure's nearly complete. Here's the Parkway, here's Bristol Road. And that's the trail that they have the base pavement down on it already, on most of it.
Right.
Yeah.
And it really, I rode through it a few weeks ago. Rides beautifully and
Yeah.
curved through the development beautifully. The drainage looks great on it. We spent a good bit of time with the developer to try and make this part of our regional trail system.
Yeah, it's not, I've ridden it too. Is it? It seems like it's 10 feet wide, is it?
I think this one is 10, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it
it's
rides
very-
nicely, and I
Yeah.
think it's a good standard in terms of the way they did it through a development. And it's a nice, when you have a trail along a road like Bristol, it's nice to swing off of it a little bit
Right.
because of the traffic and noise and everything. And this will let us do it here. And I'm hoping we can carry this through to Upper State.
Oh, it'd be amazing.
Because
Yeah.
this part, I think the plan here would be, we stop this trail, the grant application at the Parkway, because we have the Burke track done, and then the piece of ground to the right here, where we're showing the trail going through, is up for sale, and sooner or later that's going to get developed.
Right.
So I think it's worth taking a chance on that. If it doesn't happen, it's an easy one to do. It's wide open. It's an old nursery.
Right.
I think it's still an active nursery. And at this
Well, I
point,
don't think it's active, but there's a
Yeah.
gravel path that goes through there already.
yeah. So it's an easy one. And then this is where the trail's coming up through New Britain and Chalfont up to Upper
Another
State.
busy intersection.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's where we are right now with Warrington. And the game plan would be, I think, to go back to Warrington, keep working on the concept, and then create a preliminary cost estimate just to know what ballpark we're in, and then start floating the idea beyond our boards to the supervisors and key players, key property owners, maybe at the same time. And then aside from Bristol Road, the old New Road portion, Stephanie, you, Dave, and I are going to meet out there this week
Yes.
on the 10th, I think, or on
Mhm.
and start looking at how that can be done as part of the township's paving of, after the sewers are in, of Old New Road. So that's, I kind of view that as a separate project, or at least see how far we can go with it. The idea with Old New Road is not to do anything out there to limit our ability to put a trail on Old New Road. And if we can, actually construct part of it, or at least pieces of it, with the paving project.
Are you making the road wider as well?
The idea would be to make it narrower in some parts. It goes from 20 feet wide up to 30 some feet wide. It changes widths at least 3 or 4 times for a small road for a limited distance. So that's part of the discussion we're going to have out there, I think, this week is, do we come up with something more uniform for the road, cut down on the amount of paving we have to put down, and also provide some room for a trail.
Okay.
Because Old New Road is, we all know, anybody that lives over on that side of the township knows that's how you get from Alms House Road to Bristol Road, or from Lower State to Bristol Road, if you're heading south on Bristol.
And it's in really bad shape.
It's in poor shape. Yeah. Parts of it it's just like the widths. Some parts are in fine shape and some are terrible. And with the sewer line going through there right now, it'll get fixed.
It's only used if there's a backup, which is rare at the light. It rattles your kidneys while driving through there.
Yeah.
Apparently.
So that's what I've got. I think the goal again is to try and have a little progress on this every month or so, and start meeting. I think we need to meet with somebody at the school to, they're going to be one of the key people in this, getting them on board.
The nice part about what you've shown us is it all looks very doable. I don't see any major obstacles.
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest obstacle is going to be the cost, probably, but
Well, there's always that.
there's always that.
It's money.
And we need a bunch of easements. We're not going to get through this without getting easements from property owners.
But it didn't look like we were at anyone's front door.
No, but
And I think people are going to see this and be very enthused.
Yeah.
Because it is relatively easy.
Right.
Yeah, and it really connects things. I mean,
Absolutely.
I think of all the trails we've done lately, this one is a significant connector, particularly with the Bucks South there and Mill Creek.
Yeah, let's just stretch out a little bit.
Yeah.
Great.
It's visible. I mean, I like seeing visible trails. It sort of lures people onto them. So they can find some of the other ones.
It's a good marketing piece.
Yeah. And the way it connects into that piece with Toll, I'm excited about getting that piece along the Neshaminy. I think people will just go there and walk that one, from the adjoining neighborhoods. It's not a...
Yeah, it's like I think it could be like the little trail in New Britain that runs off of,
behind Unami School and...
Yeah, it runs along the creek there, and it's just like a cinder path or wood chips.
Oh, I know.
But it's
you
just
mean
so
nature,
quiet, pleasant.
the nature center there, back off.
Quinlan or something? What's it called? Quinlan? That one you mean?
Quinlan.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I think it's Quinlan.
Yeah, I think it has.
I think it'll be similar to that.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, well, Tom, that was an excellent presentation. No surprise there, but
Thank you.
that is really, it looks very doable and looks like we've got ourselves a good project to keep moving forward on. Great.
And it was easier than going out there and trying to walk that as we normally do.
Well, I found myself out on a bike out there sometimes, and I'm like, what am I doing here? I got to get off this. I'm going to be killed.
Yeah.
So it needs something. It's a dangerous area to be in.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, really, the Neshaminy Greenway Bristol Trapper. So you kind of have attacked that a little bit. Chris, anything? Are you on? How's that bridge going? I know it's the end of August, but did they speed it along? We're at the end of August.
Yeah, Chris isn't on the phone call, but we did talk to the construction manager last week, and he gave us an update on the construction progress and what's to come. There's concrete work that's happening this week on the remaining ADA ramps along Bristol Road. Next week, there's just going to be some cleanup and minor work to be done. Then starting on the week of the 24th, they're going to be installing guide rail and then reopening Bristol Road. I did ask for a anticipated, project completion date, and he did not answer that question. But the signals are the last remaining items that he gave me an update on, and they will be completed. The signals and the, pedestrian push button poles will be completed the week of the 31st.
Okay, great. All right. Should we move on while Steve's up to Turk Road, unless anyone has any questions about Bristol to Upper State? Steve, what's happening with, my favorite of the moment project, Turk Road?
Turk Road is a bit, sorry to disappoint, but a little bit of a holding at this point. And I think because, the next step for this one is to go after construction funding. And unfortunately, since COVID, there's been a number of grants that have kind of been, either they skipped a cycle or they were put on hold. And, the TASA funding, which is the PennDOT Transportation Alternative Set Aside Program, which we were kind of counting on for a number of these projects to be funded. That's not the grant schedule or the grant window is not open right now. And rumor has it that they might skip one or push it a bit just due to all the pandemic. So unfortunately, not much more to report there at the moment.
And how about that crossing over at the Pebble Valley Road? Is that still of interest?
Still of interest. The last we spoke was with the chief of police, and we kind of gathered a game plan. We'll have to talk about next steps internally, myself, Chris, Stephanie, of what to do there, because we're gonna have it is a state road, so we're gonna have to include PennDOT some way somehow, whether we make it a little mini project or there's multiple ways, but we kind of need to strategize on how to move forward with that one. But the direction was to install a three-way stop at Pebble Valley Road.
Okay.
Have you done any sketches on that yet?
No, I can put that together. I think the only thing I did was just look at the Turk Road overall map and sketch something in for my own knowledge, but I could pull a sketch together with the anticipated final conditions there and bring it to Next Bike and Hike or send it out.
Would that be something, Stephanie and Tom, you'd know this better than I, but would that be something that we put wood chips in our already owned area along Pebble Hill Road so that we can start claiming it and start saying, we have somewhat of a path here, and start moving the project along, even if it's only wood chips?
Well, I think we have to meet with the people before we do that.
No, but I don't mind. I mean, sure. But we kind of own that piece. So I'm wondering, why would that be something that makes sense to meet with the people? Just tell them we're coming with wood chips. And then it gives us a better shot maybe of getting the three-way stop sign there. It makes more sense to say we're trying to slow things up so people can cross here.
We'd have to look into that. I want to talk to the Public Works. I'm not sure about the wood chips and stuff and whether that works for storm drainage and stuff.
Yeah, it might just wash away.
Yeah, that would be my thing.
The people, a lot of the owners are actually cutting the lawn back there, which is nice.
It's nice, but it's our easement, so then we.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm happy about it, and I don't care if they keep wanting to cut the lawn, and we don't. But it just seems like we need to be able to cross. It gives an opportunity. We're directing people, from Kutz along our path into the neighborhood, and it gives them an exit point, a relief valve to get to Cherry Lane. Is Cherry Lane still happening? Has anyone come up for the Marty Brooks site? Is that a go?
It's moving forward as far as we know, but they're not going to realign any of the trails. It's what was approved. They're going to stay with it because it moves it. Any movement on it moves it closer to the Brooks property or their home, and so they're just going to stick with what was approved on the land development plan. They don't want to alter it.
Okay, and what was her complaint? That it was too close to the home?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have an approved plan which shows the trail, and that's where they want to keep it. They don't want to alter it in any way.
Okay.
Hi, this is Katie Mayo. How's everybody doing?
Hi, Katie.
Hi. I missed the last two. Excuse me. I was away.
Yeah, I'm taking my tequila back or whatever.
Did we go to the traffic committee on the Turk Road project over the summer while I was gone?
They met with the chief instead.
Oh, okay, okay.
They
So
had a
that's
Zoom
where
call with, they had a Zoom call with the chief, Katie.
Okay, all right, thanks.
And
And
that's where,
the Pebble Valley was the alternate that would work the best.
Okay. Got it.
okay, so do you have any questions on the Turk Road? Are you good, Roger? Everything all right?
Yeah, I like the idea of putting something down concrete. I don't mean concrete, but you know, something real to get it, but to get something going, something visible.
Right. That's what I feel like. It opens up the idea that we're coming.
Well, what about just mowing a path?
Well, it requires a little, there, it's a tricky part getting from Pebble Valley Road. That's a little bit tricky to actually connect to the path. So that would be the area we'd have to work on. And then I think it's very doable to just, claim it with flags since you're already cutting it. But, and I'm not seeing it as a huge, busy area for people, but I do believe it would be a nice way for them to provide access to cross and maybe direct some of the Turk Road people to go through the community instead of trying to get to the end of Turk Road. Sorry, on Pebble Hill. Anyway, Steph, if you don't mind asking about that, I'd appreciate it.
I'll talk to Dave, but it's going to be tricky. You don't want to encourage people crossing there without the proper crosswalks and everything. That creates more liability, Lynn.
Right. No, I know that. I recognize that, but I'm thinking like we keep pushing for the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like Steve said, we need the appropriate grants and everything like that. And the windows are closed right now due to COVID.
So what's the next step on the three-way stop sign?
I think we have to have an internal discussion on how we want to approach that from a funding standpoint and project standpoint, because this is coming from Doylestown, but it is a PennDOT's owned road. We do have the chief of police's full support and backing, saying that he would endorse a three-way stop sign. And a lot of times when we approach PennDOT saying that this is what the locals want, and we've put this quick pedestrian study together and we have this long-term plan and we kind of make a case for it, normally PennDOT gets on board. However, the question then comes from who's paying for it. Is it going to be a small PennDOT project that we'll try to pull together, and how there's strategy and kind of how we go about that as well. Are we able to use grants? Does the township want to do small sections themselves? So I think these are just all things that we'll have to talk about.
Do we need to have another workshop meeting on this?
Well, in my opinion, I think there needs to be more almost clerical work, like oversight work to be done before we kind of fine tune the design. I think that comes after. We need to kind of get a high level approach on how to move this forward. Because I think, and Judy, let me know if you agree, but I mean, I kind of think we know the overall scheme of how that's going to go.
Right.
So.
One thing I would find helpful is if we could have a drawing of where, tentative, maybe just in-house, but just something that shows, like we were referencing Cherry, and I'm not exactly sure where that alignment's supposed to go. But just some way that we could have an idea of what's envisioned as a tentative, what we're working towards.
Right.
Yeah, that's the sketch plan that we were talking about, doing a sketch plan and then just maybe some photos of what those views are presently to illustrate it.
I like the idea of the sketch, and maybe that goes to part of the PennDOT discussion, as well as having the backing of the chief on some things, which seems to lend some credibility to it.
Real. It makes it real.
Yeah.
Roger, you are live now, by the way. I'm glad you combed your hair.
I'll be careful what I do.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're.
No, I
screen
can't.
is still up.
You.
You.
We still see
We're
Tom's
still
screen.
seeing Gary's screen.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Tom,
are
can
you,
you?
are you able to
Tom?
stop sharing?
I.
Gary? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I still got Upper State Road.
Try. Or you can shut me off there, can't you, Stephanie?
You're sharing
No.
your screen, Tom.
No, you have to
gotta
do it.
unshare it.
That's weird. I see Chris, I see Steve's Pebble
That's
Hill Cherry
the
Road
bottom. If you
screen.
touch it, it's the bottom.
Oh, really? I don't see it.
I don't
If you
see
go
it
to the,
either.
if you go to the top, it'll say you are sharing screen, and then there's a little red sidebar that says stop share.
No.
No?
I have a Mac and it's at the bottom. It's a little, if you touch the mouse, it'll show share screen. Turn it off there.
Oh, I see share content. But I don't want to do anything, right?
Okay, I just switched it to Steve's.
Okay.
Great. So I'll just give a quick overview.
I don't.
I'm still not seeing
I'm
Steve.
still on there.
I've got
Did I-
Upper State Intersection Crossing.
Yeah, I think Tom needs to withdraw sharing screen.
I'm not seeing how to do that.
Oh, yeah, okay, let's see here.
I'm sorry, but I don't have that bar on this thing now.
At the very top of the screen?
Yeah, I've got,
How about the
Yeah.
bottom?
It may be hidden behind,
Oh.
maybe hidden.
Mine, when I touched it, it goes to it's on the top.
Yes, mine too.
It says
Tom,
stop
hit escape.
share content.
Tom, hit escape. It may make it smaller and then you'll be able to see it.
okay, that might be it. No, escape is not doing anything.
Hmm.
Okay, well, I can
No.
pull together a quick sketch of kind of what we're envisioning and send it out.
Great. Good.
That'd be helpful.
Thank you very much so. All right, we'll move on then. Steve, how's everything happening with Shady Retreat?
Shady Retreat is moving along design. We met with 2 property owners along Shady Retreat Road last week. Kind of wild. They had that tornado come right through
Yeah,
there. So
a lot
there's
of damage.
A lot of damage. The houses right along our project got lucky. They didn't really sustain that much damage, but back in the little cul-de-sac there, I mean, roofs got ripped off and trees snapped in half. It was a sight.
It was somewhat the trail to the hospital, correct? It was like where the tornado
Oh,
just,
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah, that side too.
yeah.
So
right up to the football stadium.
Yeah.
yeah, scary. So if you recall that project, at the corner of Burpee and Shady Retreat, there's an existing piece of trail there, and we head up towards Lime Kiln. The very first house there, we met with that property owner, who really just was, we just talked through the visuals there. He wanted to know how it was going to look in front of his house, if it was going to affect his property value. And Stephanie and Tom did a great job explaining, the history that we have with the trails, what it actually could do on a positive note to your property. It actually, increases, studies have found. And by the end of that conversation, I think he was pretty receptive of all the things that we had to say. And I think he was, I won't say excited, but I think he was sold on the idea that that this is coming through and he's on board. We also met with one more gentleman on the complete other end of Shady Retreat, the very last house. So we met with the first house along the trail and the last house. And he had some issues, or he had some questions about his property line in comparison to where the trail's going. We had to sort of give him a little, like a lesson or on road right of way and what that means. And I think that's going to take a little bit more finagling in terms of, sending him some information, working back and forth, but, we'll get there with that process. We have a meeting today with a PennDOT signals gentleman who's going to meet us out on the south side of the project and the north side of the project. We're going to walk through some comments that he has on our plans. and get that ready for resubmission for our signal plans, our MPT plans, which is maintenance and protection of traffic like during construction, and also our siding pavement marking plans as well. So that's happening right after this meeting. And then Dave, Tomko, Stephanie, and I are going to work through a couple smaller design preferences as well after this meeting or maybe later today.
Okay, great. So the neighborhoods are happy.
The neighborhoods are happy. We're still talking with, you know, a couple of them, but I mean, out of what, 10 to 12 houses there, 2 of them reached out. One of them was instantly sold. The other one, you know, may need a little bit more conversation, but that's pretty good.
Great, great. All right, we're winning. We're winning so far.
Yeah.
Hearts and minds.
We're Paul, I don't know, is Paul Gordon on? I don't know. I'm feeling bad that on his project, they lost the engineer for a bit and have to update someone new, but for the Bucks County Trail. So without him on, I don't know how that's going, but I'm sure they'll get this other guy up to speed and keep pressing forward with the Bucks County Trail. That's a shame though. Anytime somebody leaves, it's set you back a bit.
Is my screen still on there?
No.
No.
Oh.
Can you put me back on, Stephanie, or maybe I can't get back on? I started looking at that connector that we've talked about between the Neshaminy Greenway that exists, the one that goes behind the developments by the township building, and Turk Park, where the county's coming in.
Right.
And is that,
where did you see that? Where were you seeing that connection?
well, can you get me on there, Stephanie, or am I
Go
blocked?
ahead and share. Go ahead and share.
If I can do that.
Mm-hmm. You
Okay,
can
there
do
it is.
that.
All of a sudden, everything's back.
Mhm.
Okay, share screen. There it is.
Yep, there you go.
Going on. Yeah, we got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got it?
Yep,
Yeah.
it's here.
Okay. Now I can't see it.
We're gonna get good at this by next
Yeah,
year.
we are. By and by, the day will be
Over.
something. Yeah. Let me get this out of here. Okay, now I can see it. And here's the existing Neshaminy Greenway. The township building is right here. That's Wells Road,
Yeah.
Turk Road, and then Alms House. And this is Alms House coming in from Lower State Road.
Right.
And here's the Neshaminy Creek going through. So that's kind of the overview. We wanted to get from here to here
Mhm.
and connect on to, this would be the new trail that Paul's working on. And let me get to another one. And well, I can show it on this one. There's a steep slope right here. The
Yeah.
Alms House comes down along the stream, dips right down to the stream, and then comes straight up the hill. The first house sits back. There's another house that sits way back here. The township owns a chunk of ground through here that was part of this development. And there was some older land I think you owned, Stephanie, from years ago too. So we've got the ability to cut across the stream, and that could be a nice feature. It's going to take 2 bridges, and then
Yeah, it's a wide area there.
it's wide. It's, you know, the stream, when it floods, it goes all sorts of places back there.
Mhm.
So it'll take some effort. I think we
Suspension
need,
bridge.
yeah. I'm all for that. I'm
Bridge on the River Kwai. We're gonna make our own.
a
Right.
good bridge challenge. But the trick would be to maybe do a little switchback coming up the hill in front of this house. And I think it could be done if the property owner is cooperative. We could enhance that area and make it nice, I think. And then once we're on Turk Road, the homes sit back, or once we're on Alms House at the top of the hill heading towards Turk Road. The houses sit back and the road's wider. So there aren't a lot of obstacles there. And then here's Turk Park, so we're fine there. So this little area right here is the one we need to work on. So the
Just,
thought,
right. Where's the gun? Where's the gun?
the gun club's down here.
Yeah, it's further away.
It's way over here.
So it's
Here's
not
the
even,
Neshaminy.
it's
No.
not hindering Paul's design at all by dropping that.
No.
Right. That's what caused the problem in the first place.
Yeah.
The county couldn't work a deal
Right.
with them, and they just started putting up fences, literally.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But this would be a nice feature. I mean, I don't just need to deal with this. Stream crossings are always nice. They're always a nice feature for the trails. Hills aren't, but I think we can deal with it. And even if we can't do a switchback, it's not a long stretch. It's a matter of 100 yards or something, cutting up that steep part.
Well, the reward to get to, the reward is fantastic. It's a great
To
cut
get to
through.
the park, right?
Yeah, it's amazing
In
cut
both
through.
directions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Connecting Turk Park finally to the rest of the trail system.
yeah. It's a huge reward if we can get through there.
Yeah.
So if we
When?
did a
We know it's
suspension
possible.
bridge, we're halfway up the hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. We're talking Brooklyn Bridge here.
Right.
Let me see. I've got a better detail of that here. Let me get to it. Yeah, here it is here. Here's the existing trail.
We're not
Neshaminy.
We don't
Seeing
see
it.
anything.
You're not seeing anything on that?
No,
No.
Green.
we just have your cursor, blank screen.
Great. No.
You're only viewing Gary's, who's Gary's.
Yeah. You got the idea. Next time I can go a little further perhaps and do that. So let me try and bail out of this.
Okay, well, that is a much needed path to figure out how to get over to to the
Yeah.
Turk Park. Sure.
Well, it's one that has a lot of potential for funding because if we don't do it, it's going to be one of these impediments to a continuous.
Yeah, it's a loose end.
Yeah.
The Neshaminy Greenway.
Yeah. The nice part is we have the Bucks County's, Paul's support on that one.
Yeah, and I think we
That's
get a
great.
lot of support. It fits into the circuit funding program too,
Oh,
because it'll
Great.
be Neshaminy Greenway. And that's our
You
best.
might beat my you might beat me to Pebble Hill Road on that one.
Yeah.
Larry, Roger, we have to get a little more powerful. We need the circuit. We need the circuit to worry about Pebble Hill Road.
Yeah.
All right, there is no update, I don't believe. I don't know if Liz is on the pump track,
she's
but,
not.
she did cover up the self-help, the little station there, which is a good idea, where you pump up your tires and she put a bag over that, as they did it at some of the parks. They didn't at Peace Valley Park though, which surprised me. So I think there was a conversation Roger wanted to have. Roger, you want to pick up about how your friend hurt himself along with Simon Cowell on an electric bike?
Yeah, well, he didn't, yeah, my friend didn't actually get hurt, but I have a friend who's an avid rider. He's going to probably log in about 3,000 miles this year. So he's very experienced and knows his way around, on the bike. But he's had a couple of recent incidents with electric bikes coming at him. And one of them, it was like somebody texting while driving or something, or somebody pulling his phone. But he's very aware that, they're heavy and they caught themselves at the last minute. I know we had the problem with the ATV we discussed a couple months ago. And so we haven't really addressed where we are with electric vehicles. Lynn has experience with electrics, and we're probably, as we age, we're all going to be moved towards electrics at some point, a lot of
I
us.
just got older first. Is that what you're telling me?
So,
Got older first.
before something bad happens, I think we just need to make sure, I don't know what other groups are doing, but I'm sure we're not the only one wrestling with that. That there has to be some limits. And, you know, speed limits is one thing, but how to address it, because the thing that Simon Cowell got on was technically not what we would think of as an electric bike, but it looks like one. It fits more the speed of a motorcycle. I think the thing would do 60 miles an hour.
Well, that's
So-
not an electric bike then, is it?
And
Yeah, it just somewhere it crosses the threshold from being a bike to something more than that. And
yeah,
so anyway,
Roger, technically, we don't allow motorized vehicles on our trails.
okay.
So the
So-
electric bike is a little hybrid of a thing, and some of them are really unobtrusive and others
just
are
assist,
very
right?
obvious.
Yeah.
Actually,
Okay.
You
the
know.
one I ride does go to 30 miles an hour.
Hmm.
I mean,
Okay, so then technically Lynn could not ride her electric bike if she's doing 10 miles an hour on the trail, right?
Shouldn't be.
Okay.
Really not.
Do we
you know.
have notifications up
I know
prominently
we have them
on
in
that?
Central Park. We have them in Central Park. And we certainly can't do anything on the Parkway because that's the state. We
Yeah.
don't control that.
but I think it's going to be almost like Peace Valley Park. It's Peace Valley Park is one trail. I don't know if any of you go over there, but you have guys flying on their regular bikes. They're in training and they're riding around and they're flying, and
Mhm.
people are walking. And it's
Yeah.
almost that you're, kind of like dogs going to the bathroom and people not cleaning up. We almost self-regulate where
Mhm.
people start yelling at you. And I think for the time being, it almost has to be somewhere where, as we're getting used to this and people are learning their limits, it's more self-regulated by individuals walking on the path or riding their own bikes on the path and learning how to behave properly through others telling them.
I think
'Cause
it's
I don't
something
know-
you can put in the brochure too.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, that's a note we can add to the brochure as well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
just for informational purposes.
Yeah.
As far as the ATVs, it ended up being my neighbors. And I went and talked to them and, let them know that there's no way they're supposed to be on the trail. So I think they got the message. I haven't seen anybody there since, but
The Halloween's coming up. Wait till you see what happens to Judy's house. A night of terror.
The toilet's over.
Yeah, actually, Stephanie, to your point, that 202 trail is out of our jurisdiction, but that is where one of his incidents at least happened. Guy coming down a hill at him on the Parkway. So,
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, I
Coordinate
mean,
with
it
the
is-
state a
it's
little
a
bit that
matter
it's
of-
a concern.
PennDOT.
Pardon me?
it does become a matter of popularity of the trails too, because as they get more and more used, it's not so much, like Lynn said, you go to Peace Valley Park and those guys are racing through there on regular bikes. And there's just not enough room for everybody to be in the same place at the same time.
Yeah.
So, that's a hazard of becoming popular, I think.
My neighbor got knocked down from somebody riding a bike and that broke her wrist
In Peace Valley.
in Peace Valley.
Yeah.
Just gonna say, I live right off of Old Iron Hill on Mystic View. So we go through that cover bridge, fabulous, and all the way up to Peace Valley. And I see like groups of bikers, that are, in pods riding, but I'm also seeing those electric bikes, especially going uphill, because that's a pretty serious
Yeah.
hill.
Right.
Tom was
They're
talking
coming.
about that.
They're coming.
Oh, I'm seeing a lot more of them.
It's very popular.
So,
Yeah.
so we're basically saying then that there's no motorized vehicles on the trails that we have. In which case, then there shouldn't be any electric bike, or they could have it if they're not if they haven't switched over to the electric.
They could
Well,
use
they're
them if they're not
supposed to be
switched
a
over.
hybrid.
Yeah.
That
And they're gonna use
an
it on a
electric
climb, maybe, like
assist.
Nancy said, if you can't make it up
But
the hill, you might kick it in, but they shouldn't.
Well, it's like
We've really
saying
never
we-
had the conversation on them now that they've become more popular and I think more affordable to the general public too.
Lynn,
Know.
could you put some words around it, like maybe in terms of some safety, obviously, when you're in groups, or to help people Just
Well, I
remind-
think we'll work on that with the brochure, some wording for that.
Mhm.
I have a question. The trail going through the Cover Bridge Park up to the reservoir, to the county property.
Yep.
Are they not going to cut that at all? What's the deal with that?
They're, yeah, the EACs and your bird town and everything don't want the mow of the meadow there would be I think in the fall.
I thought they were going to cut a path along with a
I thought they were
swath.
gonna just do the edges.
Yeah,
Right,
they used to, Stephanie.
Where, refresh my memory. Where are you talking?
up around the reservoir.
Okay,
Pine Run
Continuing
Reservoir.
continuing the path into that neighborhood, you mean?
No,
No, no.
just the path that's already there, the reservoir. And I know the bird town groups made a big stink about not cutting the meadows, but my understanding was that they were going to be cutting a path along either side, and they haven't done that. So now all that grass, all that stuff is growing over the path. It's falling over the path, and which makes the path a lot narrower.
Right.
And
I would say that's where I walk with my dog, and they used to cut both sides. And if we're talking about safety, Stephanie, and people riding their bikes and walking, that definitely needs to be cut.
Yeah, just the shoulder of the path.
Yeah, on either
Yeah,
side.
I'll reach out to the county. I'll send an email to Kevin Spencer at the county, because my understanding was they were gonna just do like a foot on each side but keep the meadow so that the birds and the flora and the fauna can.
There's a ton of meadow, trust me. I think they need to allow for the safety.
Peace
Right.
Valley does. Okay, Peace Valley.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
Nancy, I agree with you. It's a safety issue because
Yeah,
when it's all over there and then, you get people trying to pass and that stuff. I got a huge scrape across the leg, just like a plant reached out to grab me.
Yeah, there's a lot of stickers in there.
Yeah.
And snakes. So yeah, we need it.
yeah, I noticed that the last time Hal and I were up there too.
Ticks and bugs and.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
because that's
All
what
right.
we do in Central Park. We don't mow the meadow
Right,
only
just
once
the
or twice a
shoulder.
year,
Yeah.
but we do the edge.
Right.
It's a balance, definitely a balance, but I'll reach out to Kevin Spencer and
I
let
think
him know, find the balance.
Bird Town people are just going to be happy with that because that's.
I mean, we said they would have to keep the edges. I just don't know why they're not doing the edges. So,
All right, well, I think unless someone has something else, I think the meeting could be adjourned now. Anybody, did I miss anything? Anybody have any comments, questions? Okay, well, thank you everyone again. Enjoy.
I just have one question. Someone's
Yeah.
on with a phone number of 215-230-7895. Can I just have your name for the minutes?
It's Katie Mayo.
Oh, Katie, okay, you were on twice then.
Okay.
All right, thanks. Okay,
Thank
bye-bye.
you everyone for showing up. See you in September. Get your fall sweatshirts ready. It's coming. Thanks.
All right, everybody. Have a good day.
Everyone, stay safe.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.